the next 52 minutes, Ghana Black Stars will line up against their Moroccan counterparts in the Group C opener in the 2021 African Cup of Nations football tournament, which kicked off in Cameroon yesterday. Ahead of the start of their campaign, President Akufo-Addo charged the team to bring home the trophy. But do we have what it takes to win this edition of AFCON? That and more will be our focus as we build up to Morocco versus Ghana, which will be live on Joy 99.7, Love 99.5 in Kumasi, and many other affiliates in Ghana. Also online via myjoyonline.com app. Now joining us is George Addo Jr., who will be having some analysis prior to the game. Gary Al Smith, who will also be bringing us commentary at 4, also will be joined by two other football experts, Jerome Ochre, who is a football analyst, and Orekwan Pofo, who is with Joy Sports. He's also been running commentary. Good to see you, gentlemen. All right, before they join us, let's start our build-up from the lineup. Let's hear from the President, Akufo-Addo, first.
On the eve of the commencement in Cameroon of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations Championship, I send best wishes from all Ghanaians to you, the playing, technical, and management teams of the senior national soccer side, the Black Stars. We're all happy that finally the AFCON 2021 tournament, which was postponed from last year, is now going to be held, the coronavirus pandemic notwithstanding. Like with every other edition of AFCON, the Ghanaian people demand nothing short of ultimate glory from the Stars. The pressure to succeed is understandably high because of our status as four-time winners, and also because it has been 40 long years since we last lifted the trophy. The target for you, naturally, is to bring the cup home. We have to go a step further than the second places recorded in 1992, 2010, and 2015, and bring the 40-year drought to an end. The task may be daunting, but it is certainly not insurmountable. I believe that in the current crop of players, we have the talent to match any of the best teams on the continent. The Ghana team has been penciled down as one of the favorites for the tournament because of its sheer quality. Let us work to bring the prediction to fruition. You, the current crop, wear the jersey of the Black Stars, the same jersey worn by Ghanaian legends such as Ado Damite, Ben Simmons, Agrifin, Wilberforce Nfum, Edward Aqua, Mohamed Salisu, the non-pareil Babayara, Abdul Razak, Upukunti, and Francis Kumi. Wear it with pride. Wear it with determination. Be of one mind and spirit, and be united on or off the pitch. Whether you are in the starting 11 chosen by coach Milovan Rejevac or not, you owe it a duty to back and support wholeheartedly your teammates representing the nation on the field. That is how a 5th AFCON trophy for Mother Ghana can be achieved. To you, my fellow Ghanaians, now more than ever is the time to throw our unwavering support behind the team. Yes, I'm aware that there are 30 million coaches in Ghana. However, in this age of social media, we cannot allow any form of pessimism, especially in our comments, to filter through to the team. We cannot directly or indirectly, afford to break their morale. In the highs and lows, in good or bad times, we must show the team that we are Ghanaians and we look out for each other, no matter what. We can make the Black Stars a force to reckon with, once again, on the continent and in world football, beginning with this tournament. Go for gold. Go for the 5th AFCON trophy. We can do it. I know we can. May God bless the Black Stars and us all. And may God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong.
Well, that charges a huge demand on the current young Black Star squad. So, do the Stars have what it takes to win AFCON?
Stars can win against Morocco with the likes of Hakim Ziyech and then the other players that Morocco have got playing in La Liga, Serie A, and then you compare them to our players. Most of them even play Division 2. So there is no way a Division 2 player can outscore a professional footballer who plays in the first league in, let's say, Premier League or La Liga. So I don't think Black Stars can win. Even a draw will be difficult.
There is always more room for improvement, like I said. So yes, definitely Ghana can always pull their way through it. So if you should ask, I can say Ghana can go by probably like a 2-0 or something like that. So fingers crossed, hoping for the best. Yeah.
I believe they stand a chance because they met Morocco 3 times and it's a win-win and 1 draw. So I believe this time they'll do well. They'll get them. I believe in Ghana and we'll make it.
Today Ghana is possible to win today's match, considering our players we are using today. Friendly match, I would say we miss most of our professional players as well. So today, hopefully, we will win our first match today.
The Ghana match, we are expecting a big race for them. It has been a long. We haven't experienced that much great. So we are expecting them to bring a good result for us. I think that is what we are all praying for it.
I don't think. We don't have team. This is for Kokra football team. We don't have team, so I don't think we are going to win. Maybe we will come back after 3 games. We will come back.
They stand a chance of winning against Morocco because I think they've learned from their previous mistakes. So I think there's a win for them today.
I think this is the best time for the Black Stars to win back the love from the Ghanaian people. We all know that for some years now, it's been difficult for the country to win its 5th AFCON. So as a country and as people, we can only expect the players to give their best performance, to get to win back the love the Ghanaian people have reposed in them over the past years, because I believe that without the love from the people, the morale and the confidence of the players will be affected. So this is a true test for our players, and they have to take up the challenge and man up to the occasion.
And those were your views from the streets of Accra. Now, I have with me in the studio Oriku Ampofo. Good to see you, Oriku.
Good to see you, Aisha.
Also joining us via Zoom is Gary L. Smith. We'll also be joined by George Ado Jr. and Jerome Mochri, who is a football analyst, will also join us shortly. But let's start with the excitement that has built up around this tournament. It looks like it has intensified this year.
Yeah, it has, and I think it's probably due to the whole feel of having to wait for an extra year due to COVID-19. You know, the tournament was supposed to kick off some 10, 11 months ago. However, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, it had to be moved forward. COVID is still around, but I think we have enough to be able to, deal with it this time around. And so we're seeing a tournament in a very difficult period, and you would have to, commend all the authorities involved, despite facing some adversity and some opposition as well, to still stand their ground and organize this competition. I think it's a big win for Africa. With regards to the Black Stars, you just know that no matter how bad things get, there would always be a huge pool of Ghanaians very, very concerned about how the team plays, no matter what they say. They would say something different, but when the team loses, they feel it. So when it comes to Ghana, people are always very interested.
Well, and one thing for sure, you must eat your fufu or whatever you want to eat before the match starts, because you may be starving at the end of the match. But one interesting thing I've observed is the international media, the interest that they've generated. For instance, I think Sky will be taking this whole thing live. Let me bring in Gary L. Smith. What's accounting for this? George Adu Jr., what's accounting for the interest that the international media is showing AFCON 2021?
Well, Aisha, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me there?
Clear.
Aisha, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear,
okay,
George.
Very well. Okay, I'm coming to you from a boiling media room as we get ready for the Black Stars game against Morocco. But I think the question was about why the foreign media are increasingly getting interested in the Africa Cup of Nations. I think it's because our African exports are doing so well in the major leagues around the world. If you look at the top 5 major leagues, you can easily make a case for one African or 2 or 3 Africans doing very, very well. They are almost single-handedly running the show out there. If you take the English Premier League, the likes of Mohamed Salah, Thomas Partey, Sadio Mane are all doing well week in, week out. Even before the Africa Cup Nations will begin, Daniel Amate and Wilfred Ndidi of Nigeria with a massive performance against Liverpool, who are, one of the top guns in the English Premier League. So definitely all around the world, it's the case of African players showing what they've got. And I think that the foreign media have just understood that at this point, we need to step in and ensure that this market, in quotes, does not run away from us. That's why they're here. I've met a lot of my friends from the BBC, from Sky, others are reporting heavily for Athletic in the UK, Talk Sport, what have you. They're all here to make sure that they can be a part of this big Africa festival.
George, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. I think we lost you a bit. But definitely, this is exciting to see the international media jumping to the AFCON 2021. I want us to, and of course, we've heard the President Akufo-Addo asking the Black Stars to actually bring the cup home. Now, the question on the minds of many is whether we have what it takes to bring the cup home. What do you think? Do we have what it takes to bring the cup home?
It's really difficult to even answer what it takes to bring the cup home, because when Zambia started the Africa Cup of Nations in 2012, I'm not sure would have said they had what it took to take the cup home. So every competition has its own dynamics. You come to the competition and you try to take it game after game. And that's exactly what we're expecting the Black Stars to come out here and do. It's clear that we are not favorites, but it's easy to say that whether you're favorites or not, it's about what you produce on the pitch. We are hopeful that the Black Stars can surprise us in a very, very positive way.
Okay, so this is the question we put on a poll on Twitter. Let's see the results of that poll on Twitter. A lot of the comments are coming in, and this is what we put there. Ghana, do the Black Stars have what it takes to end the country's 40-year trophy drought at the tournament? And here you have it. Yes, 40.1%. The no's, 37.1%. And maybe 22.8%. Oriku, what do you make of this poll?
I thought a majority of Ghanaians are not confident. If you look at the team that has been put out there, despite it being, our third oldest team with an average age of 25.04 since 2008, there is a little bit of a caveat that people are not considering, and that's the fact that this team is extremely inexperienced. Now, 17 out of the 28 players are going to play the AFCON for the very first time.
Okay.
And so I think it's a bit harsh to be able to put such expectations on people who don't even know how it feels like to play in the Africa Cup of Nations. And if you also to look at, the ratio of the number of appearances that each player has made for the Black Stars to the members of the team, each player is standing at an average of just 18 appearances for the national team. So this is a very inexperienced team. I think that this is a learning process for the Black Stars if we are to be realistic. And I think the pressure this time around is much less. It was way worse in 2019, where, you know, the team had gone to the semi-finals consecutively since 2008 all the way to 2017. So there were expectations. Asamoah Gyan was in the team, and a lot of people expected Ghana to go further than the round of 16. This time around, I think a fair few people understand how young the team is. However, when you also have your president saying that they have to bring the trophy home, I'm not a big fan of the disconnect as to, you know, the technical team wanting to take it game by game and the president still being very adamant that Ghana has to win the title. And so it's one of those things. We'll definitely see how things pan out as the competition goes. But one thing we know for certain is that if Ghana pulls a miracle and wins a fifth title, Mulovan Raiva should be taking $300,000 home.
Oh, wow. Well, Jerome has just joined us. Jerome, it's interesting, the team that we have. And you say 17 out of the whole team, they are just new players. It's their first time. This is interesting. But we still have the likes of Thomas Partey. We have Andrew Didiayu and the others. And there's a new kid on the block, Didier.
Is it Kamaldeen Suleiman?
Kamaldeen, who is on. Jerome, you think we have what it takes to bring the cup home, just as the president is asking us to do?
I think we are just being overambitious. I mean, it's okay to be hopeful. It's okay for us to express the wish and the hope that we win the competition. But we need to be fair to us. We need to be real and accept that in terms of team performance, we've not had the best. And so that is one side of the coin. I would wish that we win the competition, but the other side of the coin, as I see it, is that we don't have what it takes to win the competition. People have said that, it doesn't always take a good team to win competitions like this. My difference of opinion there is that you still need to play well to win the competition. And if you look at what Algeria did to us, if we are going to see episodes of that in this competition relative to Ghana's performance, then winning the competition is something out of our reach. But you see, it is football. I heard Oreku talk about how we have 10 or more, even 13 or so debutants in our team. And my mind goes back to Nigeria, what they did in 2013 in South Africa. They had almost 20 debutants in their team. They actually drew their first two matches. Nigerians gave up. The media described the Super Eagles as Super Chickens. And virtually everybody gave up on them, only for them to win their third game. And eventually they become champions of the competition. So you look at it this way, and there is some amount of hope for Ghana that, look, irrespective of what we are saying, that we may not have the best of players, we may not have a very good team out there, there is still that hope that if the boys can fight on the field within 90 minutes and get the kind of results that will push them throughout the competition, probably we'll be in the finals and lift the trophy. You never know. But going by the numbers, the stats as we know it, I won't say Ghana will win the competition.
But even before I go into the number of people who are playing, I've seen Baba Abdul Rahman, I've seen Daniel Amate, Alexander Jiku, Baba Idrisu. I want us to look at all of them, their strength and what they bring on the table. But first, let's also look at the opening match between Cameroon and Burkina Faso. I mean, this is the match that actually set the tone for the whole AFCON 2021. How would you describe it, George Adujenia? Hello, George. Okay, so Jerome, you can address that for me.
I think it was a very good game for a start. I was rooting for Cameroon, but take it from me, when Burkina scored, I was very excited because I wanted to see how the Cameroonians will react. And fortunately for football fans like myself, Cameroon came up with a very good reaction. You would say that, the equalizer was a penalty. Normally when goals are scored from the spot kick or from the spot, not many people want to give credit to the team. But look, the Cameroonians fought back very well, managed to get two 2 goals from penalties and ended the game as winners. I think the Burkinabes did themselves a lot of harm, especially in committing those fouls in the box for which the referee awarded penalties to Cameroon. I would expect that for a competition of this nature, in the box, I mean, defenders will be very careful how they mark their opponents, not to commit the kind of fouls I saw the Burkinabes commit. But in general, it was a fine game for a start. I mean, as an opener to the competition, it was an exciting game. There were a lot of thrills. Cameroon even scored a 3rd goal that was disallowed. I mean, from the replays I have seen, I don't know whether the VAR got it wrong, but I thought it was a good goal. I'm looking forward to a lot more excitement, especially with Ghana playing today.
George Adu Jr. is on now. George, kindly unmute for me. I was earlier asking you what you make of the open game between Cameroon and Burkina Faso.
Let me give a question again. Sorry. So, I didn't get your question again. Can you come back again, please?
So I'm just asking you to tell me how how would you describe?
Aisha, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, George. And if you can hear me, I'm just asking you to describe to me.
Hello, Aisha, can you hear me?
All right, so let's try and fix George Adu Jr.'s Zoom. He will come back and join us with us. But Ulriku, how would you describe the open game between Cameroon and Burkina Faso?
Well, I think it's what you would expect from an opening game, especially in that first half. We had a bit of everything. We had the earliest yellow card in an AFCON game for about 12 to 15 years. In the first 40 seconds of the match, that really, set the pace of the game. We had the underdogs as Burkina Faso scoring through Sangare, and then the host coming back into the game with 2 penalties, the first use of VAR in the group stage in the history of the competition. The opening ceremony was colorful and really great with a 3D lion moving across the pitch and all that. So it was a spectacle, and the football that we saw matched what we saw witnessed at the opening ceremony. So I think it really set the tone well. And fans always love to see goals. Seeing 3 goals in the game, I think, was a good start to the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations.
We'll be looking at the lineup for the game. Quite interesting young men on this squad. We'll be looking at them and analyzing their strengths and weaknesses. But let me take you to the ground right now. Michael Ashale is joining us live from the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Michael, how is the anticipation there? All right, so we'll try and bring Papani Ashale, who is in Circle, where people are, anxious to watch that match. I mean, it's been a long time, 40 years. We haven't gotten any cup from AFCON. Right now, the deal is for us to bring the cup home, just like the president is asking us to do. Papani Ashale will join me very soon, but let's look at the team, the squad. So let's start with those who've been there before. Like I mentioned earlier, Thomas Partey is there, Andrew Dedeayu is there. Okay, so yes, so you have Thomas, you have Jordan Ayew, you have Andrew Ayew, you have John Pencil. What do they bring on the table? Joseph Pentel.
Yeah, Joseph Pentel, he's a young winger with Genk, and he would also be playing at the AFCON for the very first time. But I think what's important is that in each department of the field, you have one experienced player who has been at the AFCON. You look at the defense, and Daniel Amate and Babaraman, they've racked up several Africa Cup of Nations cups, and so they should be able to marshal the defense. And in midfield, you have Thomas Partey, who will also be playing in the African Cup. This is not his first time. He had experience from the tournament. And then up front, you have Andrew Ayew and Jordan Ayew. Andre himself, he has a century of caps for the Black Stars. He's playing in his 7th AFCON, and it's a good tournament for him, especially because he's coming in as captain, and he's come of age now. And if he really wants to make an impact as captain of the team, this is the opportunity. But he and his brother, they also have years of experience in the Africa Cup of Nations, and you'd expect them to lead from the front and pull the team along with them. For Andre, a record beckons for him, and he could join the elites in African football. If he scores in this tournament, he will become the 4th player to score in 6 different tournaments. There are only 4 players in that. There are only 3 players currently in that list, and Asamoah is part of them.
Okay. Let's look at the young people that you talk about. How is it going to be like for them?
Well, I think for a young player, you always want to play in such tournaments. You grow up watching some of these players, watching the best players from Africa, and you dream of playing there. I had the privilege of speaking to one of the players in the team, and he mentioned how it is your dream to play in the Africa Cup of Nations. So most of them are realizing their dream, but however, you want to make sure that psychologically they're in the right place and there isn't too much of adrenaline. So they end up doing things where they're not applying a lot of common sense and trying to play out of their limits. You want to ensure that they keep a calm head and the occasion doesn't get to them. There isn't too much pressure on them. So I think that's why the 11 other players who've been there before have an even crucial role to play in this tournament to ensure that the 17 do feel at home and always communicate with them and make them feel that this is just another game.
Jerome, what's your own assessment of this squad for the 2021 AFCON?
I think it's the best that we can put out there. I mean, even if it's not the best at this stage, there's very little you can do. I mean, if there is anything at all you can do, we just have to be hopeful. I mean, I've looked at the starting lineup, and it's very clear. You see a mixture of experience and some youthfulness. I mean, some youthful players there. Dede, Partey, Jordan easily come across as players that have seen a bit of the competition. I mean, if you take Dede, for instance, he's been playing the AFCON since 2010 or so. And this is the time for him to lead the boys, show the kind of experience he's gathered over the years on the field of play, and drive the team to the point that Ghanaians want to see. So for me, the team isn't that bad. I mean, this is a good mix. I'll be expecting to see, for instance, how our goalkeeper will perform. I've not seen him in a real competitive competition like this one. Yes, he was with us when we were playing in the World Cup qualifiers. I'm expecting that this afternoon or today, he won't disappoint us. I mean, he will live up to expectation because, you see, there's been so much talk about goalkeeping, and this is the time for him to prove his critics wrong.
Now, I think we can go to the ground and see how people are preparing for the game that comes up in less than 30 minutes. Papani Ashali is at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Papani, how is the preparation like at Circle? Papani, I'm just asking you to tell me how the, how people are preparing in Circle for this match. Papani?
Sure. So we are live here at the Circle Ordona bus terminal here. We'll be interacting some of the folks here at the bus terminal to measure their expectations and their reactions as Ghana prepares to clash with Morocco in its opening game with Morocco a few minutes from now. Here we'll speak to some of them here, but throughout the day, some of the opinions that we have been getting have been to the act that it's been nearly 40 years and Ghana has not been able to get a single thing, a single trophy in that 40-year drought. So we'll be asking them, I mean, what they make of this. Let me start my gentleman here. So Ghana Besha Morocco 4 o'clock, and then Ghana team now. Bibia Ojidio Mumona. Ghana will win Morocco. Ghana will win. Ghana sure. Okay, so he's sure that Ghana is going to be winning against Morocco. Bossman, Ghana by winning Morocco.
You better win. You better win.
How many goals?
You better 2-0.
2-0. One a bit much goal.
Don't boy now believe it's over to
for the first time, Asamaja and Bobby. Oh, GD was our team no as Asamaja and Bobby.
No GD. The big was a bit yes. And now opening the Tosa as a planted him. And he about to me with me. John boy first goal, second goal, they do.
At the end of 90 minutes, 2-0. 2-0. Great. So he says that one. He knows that Ghana is going to be scoring 2-0. He's given us the name of the goal scorers. But first half and second half, no better go no.
Yeah, better go no second half.
Second half. Okay, so according to him, if Ghana is going to play according to him, Ghana should be expecting to be scoring 2 goals in the second half. Bossman, if on team be kakra. And besides, Ghana ekobo Morocco. Who feels Ghana be winning?
Ghana be winning.
Argentina or Satras be winning.
They do go. They do go.
How many goals are we scoring?
2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Who are going to score the 2 goals for Ghana?
Dede and brother.
Dede and his brother?
Yeah.
First half or second half?
First half, no 2, no straight.
But people have been talking a lot that Asamajan is not playing this game, and possibly, and you know how the African countries people used to say they used to fear us. You don't think that we should be scared that Asamajan is not in our team?
But Asamajan the support watch you be winning. There.
So here, Aisha, we'll get some more reactions, but from the people I've been interacting with, it seems that Ghana is in a comfortable lead. We started from a straight win, and then we came to a 2-0, and now that's a 2-1. Well, let's try for some more reactions to the football game that will be played a few more minutes from now here. To talk to some of the folks here at the Odona bus terminal to measure their reaction. Bossman, good afternoon. Ghana be ball at Ewiawe at 4 p.m. Oh, trust what Ghana team will somebody winning now.
Oh, be winning, definitely.
How many goals they share?
2-1.
2-1. One of these matches are going to my.
Minimum, but my prediction then.
What GD or tactics not? Your coach in the no.
Oh, coach in the Onono Kitamu friend in nobody should be Anna Yepe.
But Osha players now, what chooses some about first game, opening game now? What do you make of it?
And mom the minimum players are what you saw on. But what baby ano? Wabong what they be winning.
40 years, and share and win a title in Bida. If we said this year and a year.
Your boy home what they be young. Yo.
Okay, so that's the gentleman here. He says that, well, if Ghana tries, possibly we may be looking at ending our 40-year drought in terms of trophies when it comes to the AFCON. Let me interact finally with these folks here, and let me ask them. See, Bossman, Ghana be bobo Ewiawe, how many Morocco be bobo? Who did they say Ghana be winning Morocco game no?
Oh, me
anything that was GD no?
Oh, because Ghana football, me who say this year, I'm going to have them calculate. Me GD pa.
But who players now you choose here they got bobo no?
Me who be pa.
Who shall some players with my winning this game now? Who feels that changes be what say here?
Oh, changes now my end here pa. Me GD so me too.
Our goals are here between me and share.
Oh. Well, correct score one goal per correct score.
Now one the best shall go now my.
Oh, Jordan Ayu the better mama.
Okay, so it looks like the Ayu brothers are the favorites of the folks here at the Odona bus terminal here. Interacting some of the conductors here and the drivers here, they tell me, well, Ghana seems to be in the lead to be winning its opening match against Morocco in the AFCON. Well, the Ayu brothers seem to be the tip to be giving Ghana those winning goals. Aisha.
Papa Niashale there from the Kwame Nkrumah circle, and a lot of people are optimistic Ghana will win today's match. But which team are they playing against? The Moroccan team itself has done very well for itself over the period. At least it's won its last 6 matches. But unfortunately, this time, their top player is not playing this game. What does this mean for Ghana and the game as well?
Well, yeah, Hakim Ziyech, he's had a little role with their coach, Halilhodžić, and is one that spans all the way back to, mid last year, where the coach complained of his attitude towards national team games. He was called to warm up for a match, and then he would be substituted, and the coach felt that he wasn't warming up as if he wanted to play. And ever since then, the coach has, questioned his attitude towards the national team. So he's not been called since.
Could be a reason why he's
he's not part of the team. He's not been part for throughout the World Cup qualifiers.
Oh, wow.
And Morocco played 6 games in that World Cup qualifiers. They scored 20 goals, conceded 1, and won all their 6 games. Okay. So there's no problem with Ziyech. There will still be a side with a lot of threats going forward. They have Sofiane Boufal, who's been on form in Ligue 1, a very creative player, knows how to find space and dribble past players. And then there's also Ilai Isher, who plays in the championship with QPR. They do have a number of injuries with El Kabi not present. El Nasri also, who plays for Sevilla, would not be in the team as well. And so they do have a couple of injury situations, but you do expect them to still compete with the depth and quality that they do have.
That means that Ghana has a tough game to play this afternoon.
Yeah, this was on paper the toughest game for the Black Stars.
What should they be looking out for? What should be our strategy?
Well, Morocco have lined up in a 3-4-3 formation, and throughout their qualifiers, and they've not lost a game in 90 minutes, regular time, since 2019, when they were beaten by Benin in the Africa Cup of Nations. And so they've been on a very long stretch of being unbeaten. And so they're a side who know how to win games. However, you need to add context to their World Cup qualifier games. They played all 6 games at home due to a number of issues. An opponent that they faced had a cool situation away. One didn't have a good pitch situation and all that. So things have been in their favor. So they've played at home for a very long time. Okay. This time around, they are coming to a new country in Cameroon, and it will be a different feel for them. However, they've tried their best, that's the Moroccan FA, to make their team feel at home. And so they traveled with a 5,000 kilogram cargo plane, which has their own food, has their own toiletries, their own chefs, and their own personal everything, also due to COVID-19 and all that. So they want to make the team feel like how they do feel in Morocco. So the FA have done their best, and we'll see how they fare against Ghana. But they play in a 3-4-3 formation, love to stretch the pitch, move the ball really well. And so Ghana has to be disciplined, especially defensively, more than what we saw against Algeria.
Okay, Ghana has to be disciplined. Jerome, is that what you feel? Should that be our strategy?
Absolutely. I mean, I have said that this game is going to define us in the competition. I don't think the rest of our group games will be as difficult as today's games. Today's game. I am not underestimating the opponents we are going to play after Morocco. I'm just saying that Morocco, their pedigree, it's going to be more drilled than the rest of our opponents. So if we don't go out there showing the kind of discipline Oreku is talking about, we're going to face difficulties. I am banking my hopes on Dede and his brother and Pate and some of the other experienced guys to really come to the party, because the Moroccans are going to get at us. I mean, they know what Ghana can do. Ghana may not be doing too well, but they do know that this is a country that, loves football. This is a country that does a lot when it comes to football, and Ghanaians would expect the Black Stars to go all out and win this game and maybe the competition. So they're not going to leave anything to chance. I mean, the point about they missing Ziyech, I have said that it is not something the Moroccans are even thinking about, because like Oreku pointed out, they have, gone so many matches without him since June or July. And this coach has proven that he doesn't need Ziyech to do whatever he's doing. So it is something it's good we are talking about it, but it's something we should put away and face the guys who are now in Cameroon. Ziyech is not there. I am praying that our defense, in terms of strategy, our defense will be watchful, because in the game against Algeria, although it was a trial match, normally trial matches have their own composure from competitive games. what I witnessed in our game against Algeria wasn't the best in terms of our defending, in terms of our goalkeeping. And I'm expecting that with the Moroccans not being too different from Algeria in terms of their play, in terms of the aggression they can show, our defense will be resolute enough and contain any amount of pressure that will be put on them. And then the attack will also live up to expectation. If we can get these two right, I have no fears in the midfield battle. I think for that area, we'll be able to match them.
But of course, getting it right means that we have to look at our previous games and how we have performed. I mean, let's look at our strengths and our weaknesses in previous games at AFCON. I mean, how would you rate the Black Stars, their strength and their weaknesses in previous games?
Well, not to be a prophet of doom, I think what the weakness for this team in this competition, if what Asamoah has done in previous competitions is anything to go by at all, or for the Black Stars, is going to be an attack. I have not seen any sharpness when we play up front. And for me, I have some fears there. And I've also not liked the business of our defense. I mean, the kind of conduct they have shown in some of our previous games, for me, hasn't been too convincing. If you watch the World Cup qualifiers, 2-3 of our matches were dry. I mean, they were not matches that you would say really showed that this is a convincing Black Stars team. But you see, qualifiers are completely different from tournaments. This is a tournament. When you lose when you lose a game here, or when you draw a game here, you'll be able to recover maybe second or third game. And particularly for this competition where some of the best third place teams can even advance to the next league of the competition, I don't think we have too much to fear. We just have to make sure that we do the necessary things. And that is what I mentioned. In defense, we must be very careful. We must be very watchful. The North Africans are noted for attacking in a very ferocious manner. And I'm expecting that our defense will be able to hold their own against them. And if we can contain them and be able to score, the Ghana, I know, can really do something. If we are not able to score and not able to defend, obviously, we are going to have problems.
So Jerome is sensing that, I mean, the Moroccans will do more of the attacks, and so we have to try and do a lot more of defense. And he says that our previous games has not been well coordinated, and so we need to do the necessary things. Do you have same fears, Rico?
Yeah, you know, when you're playing in a tournament, a lot of factors come to play. And even in the match that just ended between Senegal and Zimbabwe, everyone thought, you know, Senegal were going to blow Zimbabwe away. And you know, the silver medalist in 2019 needed a last-minute penalty from Sadio Mane to win the game. So the most important thing is that you stay in the game. No matter how good or bad you are, you have to stay concentrated and make sure that you stick to the game plan. Because Ghana is facing a Morocco team that have been together for 2 years now, and they've been unbeaten in that 2-year period. The coach barely changes his system or his players. And so everyone knows what's expected of them. Contrastingly, this Ghanaian side with Milo Van Rijvac, Milo has had just about 4, 5, 6 games with the team. And all of them have been qualifiers prior to this tournament. So he usually spends just a couple of days with the team. So he hasn't really seen his full imprint on how the team plays, how the team shapes up and all that. So Ghana is still a work in progress, and we are facing a finished product in Morocco. So the odds don't favor the Black Stars heading into this game. But as I said, in the tournament, once you stay tight and defend well, you give yourself a chance as time goes on, within the game. So there's also that element of luck, but everything depends on how much of effort that you put in and stay within the game.
How much of effort you put in and stay within the game. But I know that there are also some new countries that have come on. They've never played before. It's their first time at the Gambia and Comoros, I think. Which one is in Ghana's team? The group.
Yeah, that's Comoros.
Comoros is, and what does this mean for Ghana? Should we be panicking?
Oh no, but Comoros only started playing, CAF qualifiers and FIFA qualifiers 14 years ago. And so they are minnows on the continent. A lot of their players come from France, Portugal, playing in Ligue 1 and then League 2 and second divisions in these countries. So this is enough for them, qualifying for their first ever Africa Cup of Nations after starting football professionally in 14 years. This is a big step for them, and we saw celebrations throughout the country when they qualified. They are less than 1 million in population. Okay. I think just above 900,000. They're built on a volcanic island, a very, very small country, and so football is not something that they've invested heavily in like the Black Stars have done. So I think it's two teams on the opposite ends. Comoros, they just want to enjoy the experience. The Black Stars, they have a mission, and that's to try their best to end that 40-year drought. And so I don't think Comoros should be a problem at all.
Should be a problem at all. So what are your expectations this afternoon at 4 p.m.?
Well, for me, I think the most important thing is that you qualify from the group. And you could still do that even if you lose to Morocco. But what you want to do as a team is to give yourself enough confidence after this game. Now, that doesn't solely depend on the result. You could still lose this game and gather enough confidence on the performance and use that to beat Gabon and Comoros. So I think what's important is that the Black Stars have to fight. They have to leave it all on the pitch and know that we did everything possible to be able to win that game. Once you do that, you go in with your head held up high, even if you do lose, and then you carry on knowing that if you do that same thing against Gabon and Comoros, you should get 6 points and qualify.
What does Ghana need to qualify, from this stage?
Well, it's been made easier with 24 teams across now. They want a round of 16, and so essentially, top 2 teams automatically qualify. However, the best 4 third-place teams also qualify. So you want to keep that in mind as well. So that in the worst case scenario, Ghana could still qualify as one of the best third place teams. And so some of the things that they will be considering is the number of goals that you concede, your goal difference, and your number of points. So even if you are losing, make sure not to lose in a big margin and maybe a 1-goal margin, and then you pick up a point elsewhere and win somewhere else. But typically, with third place teams qualifying, 4 points, even sometimes 3 points is enough. With a good goal difference is enough. So you'd expect the Black Stars to pick anything above 4 points, and that should be enough to see them in the round of 16.
Okay, so just in less than 5 minutes, that game will be on, and you can tune in live to 99.7 Joy FM. You can tune in to Love FM 99.5 in Kumasi. It's on myjoyonline.com, and we have the live match for you between Ghana and Morocco. Jerome Ochri, let me pick your final thoughts. What exactly do you want to see at 4 p.m.?
Well, at the end of the day, I want to see Ghana winning. But I would also love to see us play well. Just like Oriku said, give yourself the kind of confidence that will drive you throughout the competition, because from here, it might look easy, but as we progress to the knockout stage, it will be tougher. So we win and build the confidence for the rest of the matches to come. Nothing else. Given the nature of this competition, 2 top teams making 16, and then the best 4, look, it will be disastrous if we don't make it to the round of 16.
So all the best to the Black Stars at 4 p.m. But one advice for you viewers, kindly take your food, your fufu, anything you want to eat, please do before you start watching the match. I will take a break on The Pulse. We'll be back with more. Welcome back to The Pulse. You can join us with all our social media handles. It's on JoyNews on TV. You can tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Denana Aisha. Now, 5,000 cedis is how much a trafficker requires to recruit at least 7 children from the northern part of the country to work on cocoa farms. Musa Kwabena, a trafficker who is responsible for many children trafficked and working on cocoa farms at Elukrum in the Western North region, reveals he forges the identity of his victims to outwit the security. These are excerpts of JoyNews' latest investigations titled Children in Cocoa Labor. Investigative journalist Kwete Nate reports that parents of these children are complicit in this illegal trade.
Trafficker who is responsible for the presence of many of these children in Elukrum is Musa Kwabena. He says he entices the parents of these children to gain custody of them with the promise of exciting returns.
Oh, okay.
He has a network of traffickers in the northern part of Ghana, specifically Chereponi. They help him identify families with vulnerable children.
Okay.
Into Bibisa, no send ya Oma. 200 Ghana cedi. Police for no. 200. In case say akola kan ho ade na obeka trom ana en meka 200 cedis na ode bema omon. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Like on say one thing country so one your say you on say French no so I need to be honest if I wait now on money no.
He told the investigative team he would charge 5,000 Ghana cedis to traffic at least 10 children for us. Our cover story was that we needed children to work on cocoa farms urgently. He revealed one of the approaches he adopts to outwit the security officers is to forge the national identity of these children.
25,000 say in Colorado do say now bit me diaba.
Okay, in Colorado I said yeah, look, say also say yeah, my miss me say. Be I met man by 6 yeah 7. But maybe we can say no more crowd about 7.
These costs increase the number of years these children spent working on cocoa farms at Eluokrum. Rashida was trafficked from Chereponi by Musa. She was in class 6 at a basic school in Chereponi.
I have said, "Dear, when I'm by and the million first man and papa, you will for me and four for us. So, I am papa, no,
Working long hours is not new to Rashida. She says she has served 4 years already under her old master. She was just 11. She is now serving for 1,000 Ghana cedis, which will be paid to her parents. There is no intention of her master sending her to school.
No class 7.
Class 6.
Another girl the investigative team came across is Memuna. She's serving 4 years for an amount of 1,200 Ghana cedis. She was also brought from Chereponi by the same Musa. When she isn't hawking on the streets of Eluokrum, she assists with weeding on the cocoa farms. She says her sibling is also serving with another master at Eluokrum. She's working for a lesser wage of 1,000 Ghana cedis.
12 million.
12 million, yeah, 1,002. 12 million.
You heard excerpts of our latest hotline documentary, Children in Cocoa Labor. It will air later in the evening at 8:30 p.m. on the JoyNews channel. Now, the academic calendar of the country's public tertiary institutions is on the verge of derailment as university teachers begin a nationwide strike. University Teachers Association of Ghana is unhappy about government's handling of conditions of service for its members and will stay out of the lecture halls indefinitely. The teachers reluctantly called off a similar strike over same demands last year on the condition that their concerns will be addressed. But after the exhaustion of the timelines, they say government is yet to act on their demands. UTAG is demanding payment of realistic research allowance as well as a restoration of members to a 2013 agreed basic salary level. Dr. Samuel Kusibuede is calling for transparency and sticking to timelines promised by government in addressing their concerns.
Different scenarios, because I mean, these are the things we do. We have looked at actuarial implications, we have looked at, I mean, done the projections and worked different scenarios and presented to the employer. That, look, we know, we are very much aware that looking at the economic situation, there is no way you can pay everything to us. And so we have worked different scenarios and look at if you want to increase it by X, Y, Z and all that. So we are very open. But I think that the challenge we have as leaders of our union is that we come in, we listen, and then you go back to your members and you have so many things coming up. And especially when the employer does also not meet the timelines. It creates a certain level of distortion and a certain level of integrity crisis for everybody. And so as the labor consultant indicated, if we are very transparent, if we stick to our timelines, then we will not be here. And so for us, it's not an entrenched position at all. But one thing that is sure is that if anybody wants to say we want to go to court, we want to do X, Y, Z, I will advise. If we take that option, then we are not ready for a solution, because we haven't created this problem. This problem has been created by the employer, and we have served notices. As far back as November, we started asking for implementation of certain things. These things were not done. We are ready to engage any day, anytime, but let us stick to timelines, let us stick to agreements, and let us be progressive. Things that we will do that will not continue to make us worse off or just to buy time to make us worse off. No, we are very clear in our minds that we will not budge to any of these things.
But Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Dr. Ufusa Samoa, responding to concerns of the teachers, expressed shock at the latest decision. He assured of meeting the aggrieved teachers on how best to end the strike.
So they have already embarked on the strike. Moving forward, at least from their end, what are some of the things that you feel could be done so that very rapidly we can do away with this situation and maybe the teachers can return? I mean, what has been discussed so far from your end between the two parties?
This morning, as I talk to you, I'm on my way to the office. I'm in touch with the ministry. When I get to the office, I'm going to talk to the chairman of the commission and then we'll do the move forward. But certainly, it calls for settlement.
What was the last statement you made? You're saying it calls for settlement. Is that what you said?
It calls for settlement. Once there's a strike, it means there's an issue. If there's an issue, it must be settled between the parties. So that is what we proceed to do.
All right. So I just want you to practically, I mean, you are at the helm of affairs. At least you are in there. You know, over the years, these situations have cropped up. What are some of the likely remedies we can have in an instance like this?
When parties are unable to agree, we bring in a mediator or we subject to arbitration. So one of these forms of settlement.
But what could be the possible implication on academic work as the university is prepared to resume? My colleague Manuel Kransing has been speaking with some students at the University of Ghana on the back of the strike.
We are not really happy about it because already the COVID has brought some distractions and has put our distractions within our studies. So we are not really happy about it. We really want the lecturers to come around this week or next week to start our academics.
Well, so if they don't come this week or next week, as you are asking, then it means that your academic calendar is going to be thrown out of gear. Am I correct?
Yes, I guess, because during the pandemic, we were given a short period to study a lot of stuff. We wouldn't want that to happen again.
Okay. So when COVID-19 came and disrupted the academic calendar, a lot of content was crammed into just a few. Let me speak to Ellie also. Ellie, you're also a student here. You're in your final year also.
Level 400.
Okay, so tell me how you're taking in this news of the lecturers embarking on the strike.
Mano, this is very unfortunate news to us as students, as a final year student. We weren't expecting something like this to happen at this particular point in time, because as I speak to you, I'm currently embarking on my project. I've started the first part, and as we speak, because of this strike, when I speak to my supervisors, they say they are on strike officially today. So from today going, I cannot speak to them and get informations and outcomes to whatever I'm doing. So I'm yet to start the lab work. I actually did a field trip, so I'm yet to start with the lab work. And you know how lab work is. We are now being initiated to the whole process. So time and time, you may have to consult your supervisor to be able to know what to do at any point in time. The lab technicians, they don't have this chunk of knowledge to be able to take you through the process. So the lecturers going on strike at this particular point in time, for me in the sciences, is a very unfortunate news for us.
Yeah, and it's going to affect academic career.
Yes, because maybe this may last for at least maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and this means that we may have to rearrange the whole academic semester, and this pushes the whole graduation, my graduation, into somewhere after October and November. But you know how you have to plan your life such that you start the national service in time and move on to other careers. Yeah.
Labor expert Austin Game advised the employers that a government to open up to UTAG on what it can afford in terms of meeting their demands.
You must learn how to dance and not worry about the cloth you are putting on. Sometimes you may be compelled to say that it's your cloth that is worrying you. The law is very clear, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with the law that we have. The problem is the capability, the skill. Now, if you don't have something, you can't give anything out.
Right.
That is the point. Now, the employer has a responsibility to engage the union leaders.
Right.
If they engage them and they are 100% transparent and bring about sunlight on the thing, nothing should be kept under any dark cover. If you do that, because it's not only about pay per se. By the way, comparison with our neighbors will be the most dangerous thing to do, because our economies are not the same.
Right.
We are all having challenges. You know, if you take Nigeria, you want to compare Ghana to Nigeria? What is it?
But just a quick one there, Mr. Game. I remember, for example, there was, I don't recall, but one of our institutions tried recruiting someone, I think, and the person, it was on social media from another country, and the person stated that even in his position in his university, this was how much he was earning, and coming to a supposedly higher position in Ghana and, you know, getting a pittance would not work. So wouldn't you say that being professionals, okay, these people are professionals, and it comes with extensive publications and how many years they have lectured, what titles they bear and all of that. Isn't it only fair that even in considering the fact that the countries are different, there is a certain base, a certain minimum that is expected? When you don't meet those minimums, can people not complain about it or make the comparisons?
Why not? That is something that we all do. But when it comes to situations like this, and people want to do comparison, that is what I meant by saying that we should not, at this point in time, venture into it. I've been in the trenches about negotiations, you know, across board, within and without. And I do know that comparisons can be made, but circumstances and the timing is very important. That's why he rightly said, look, don't try it, because if you try it, we'll run into a ditch. To be honest with you, our situation here with our lecturers, if you like,
is as such that we need to be very honest and open and talk about it in a manner that will not run our educational system aground. If they do a lot of work with me also, and I can tell you that they are unhappy. Some of us have pleaded with them, even on our knees, and I suggested to them certain things they should do that would enable them go back to school at the time. And they responded positively, and they went back to school. Now they have started again. I want to tell you in very, very transparently that the employer has a responsibility to engage them now. I'm not talking about tomorrow, today, so that they can understand and appreciate the challenges they have, but on condition that they will not be vilified in the public domain the way we have been doing it. They are not, excuse my language, they are not stupid people. They are lecturers. They know what to do, and therefore, if we vilify them in public domain the way we sometimes do, as if they don't know, they will get entrenched, and that will make life very difficult for all of us. Let them be spoken to, and I can tell you on authority that they will listen. They know what to do. If they have to go back to school, they will go. But if the employer do not have at all, there is nothing absolutely anybody can do. Let me say the last thing.
Right.
Look, the fear is this. They are demanding certain things. They want it negotiated. They want it paid. The fear of the employer sometimes is, if we give it to them, what about their comparators in the same system?
Right.
Will they come after them, the employer? Yes, they will come. And therefore, part of the thing is that, look, we cannot pay it, because if we pay, it means we must pay other people too. All these things should be made clear and put on the table. Because if we are paying people 7% for the year 2022, obviously, and our inflation is X, what it means is that there is a gap. And that's why restoration, the language restoration is coming in. So we really need to be very, very open in this case and call a meeting urgently of not just the university lecturers after their engagement. Maybe the negotiating committee meeting should be called by the fair wages so that they will engage to prevent people from going in pockets. Let's deal with the thing holistically and save the situation. We are in trouble if we don't know.
A group calling itself MPP Youth for Victory 2024 is calling for the penalization of persons involved in flouting the party's code of conduct at the recent NPP National Delegates Conference in Kumasi. The group is accusing some party executives and supporters of publicly displaying support for the Vice President as a potential flag bearer for the NPP in 2024 general elections. This comes after the NPP headquarters pointed out what each potential candidate and their supporters ought not to do at the conference. The group indicates some supporters of the Vice President wore branded T-shirts, which was highly prohibited, and also mentioned posters of him being erected at vantage points. Speaking to the press, the national president of the group, Jerry John Campbell, outlined pertinent issues believed to be of concern for the NPP as it prepares towards the 2024 elections.
Conference, a communique was issued from the NPP headquarters pointing out clearly what each potential candidate and their supporters ought not to do. However, supporters of our desperate vice president, and I repeat, desperate vice president, were spotted flouting the rules of engagement by wearing Baumia branded T-shirts to the conference grounds in Kumasi. And some of them confided in us that they were giving the T-shirts and an amount of 10 Ghana cedis to come and cheer up the vice president. What a pity, what a shame. Again, we have been watching the party's top hierarchy before and after the National Delegates Conference in Kumasi and how some members of parliament, led by Honorable Oseche Mensah Bonsu, majority group leader in parliament, Honorable Amim Anta, MP for Karaga, Honorable Habib Idrisu, MP for Tolong, Honorable Farouk Mahama, MP for Yendi, Mr. Anthony Kabu, Nana Boachi, popularly known as Nana B. We are not afraid to mention anybody's name. We fear nobody. We the youth, we are now speaking. Chairman to me, the Ashanti Regional Chairman, Mr. Mohamed A. Batima Samba, the Northern Regional Chairman, who has the capacity or the edge to suspend somebody. He himself has violated our code of ethics, and we shall address that. Mr. Kwamina Nsentre, among others, have kept on violating the party's directives by openly declaring their support for the vice president's flag bearership bid without any rebuke from the party's hierarchy. Ladies and gentlemen, time will not permit us to go into the details, but we will leave this to the able decision of the Council of Elders to ensure that such issues are quickly resolved in order not to breed sharp divisions in the party, which can affect our chance for a shot at another victory come 2024.
The group again indicates its next plan of action and calls on party leaders to work in harmony to break the eighth in the upcoming general elections.
To act, because most of these acts, which are against the code of conduct, happened right in front of them. It happened right, and they have been seeing it. Even if they don't see it, they hear it. So we are saying that they should act now because they are aware. We don't need to write letters and do stuffs because all happened right in front of them. So that's what we are saying, that they are aware. They can't deny the fact. That's why we are bold to mention some names, that they were right there. That is it. But this is what happened, and most of our MPs lost their seats. It is because people were agitating, and they placed a deaf ear. They didn't want to listen to the people. You understand? At the end, look at the hang parliament that we are having. That even a common passage of law, they can't pass because of the hang parliament. You see, so if this is what they will continue, it will make the people annoyed. Our grassroots will be annoyed. And then they will also decide not to vote because I don't think we are going to vote for the NDC. No. But we will stay in our homes. We will not vote for anybody. And that is it. How can you win? We want a stronger front, not a divided front. If Baulia comes, why not? We will support him. If Honorable Alanchi Martin too comes, we will offer our support. The grassroots will offer our support to him. But to play tactics or to bring Machiavellianism into this thing, that is what we are against. Because if they push us to a position, we will not forgive them. After this conference, we are going to sit down and then draft a complaint to the neck. Because first of all, he said, if you want to speak to God, speak to the wind. No, so we've done that. So the next step is to write to them. If they don't listen to us, then what happened during the 2020 elections, it will repeat itself.
Take a break on the Pulse. We are back with more. Welcome back to the Pulse. The match between Ghana and Morocco is ongoing, and we'll be bringing you updates. You are assured that on the Pulse on JoyNews channel, you'll be getting a lot of updates on that match right now. Welcome back to the Pulse, and it's now time for sports. Ghana against Morocco. Almost 45 minutes of play. Oreko Ampofo is here with the very latest. Oreko, how has the match been for the first almost 45 minutes?
The first half just concluded, actually. It's still 0-0, which is a positive for the Black Stars, especially coming up against a team where many tipped to win the tournament. And so you would want to at least get a decent performance. And as I stated when I came in earlier, the number one tip in tournaments is always to ensure that you stay within the game, because that's how you give yourself a chance to be able to build on it and even try and get a win or even get away with a draw. So far defensively, it's been good for the Black Stars, but I'm sure Milo would be talking about moving forward? How would they be able to create more opportunities going forward?
And of course, earlier you indicated that this game was going to be an attack and defense, and you were also showing fears that Ghana over the past period has not done well in terms of defense. How has this game been for you, at least for the first part?
I think for the first half, Ghana have defended really well, yet to concede any big chance. And they've mostly limited the Moroccans to, shooting from areas where you don't expect it to trouble Wollacott. So I think from a defensive point of view, the team has done way better than they did against Algeria, which makes sense because of the personnel that has been, introduced. The number one keeper at the moment, Wollacott, has come in and inspired some confidence. Jiku partnering Amati and, and the Adam coming back for the right back spot, whilst Baba Rahman also came in for Gideon Mensah. So I think on paper, this is probably Ghana's best defensive unit, and they've showed why in that first half. Morocco themselves, they've also struggled to really carve open this Ghanaian defense. And I think that the problem with both teams is going forward. I think defensively, both teams have been great. The difference would be in the second half, who really wanted more. And I think it might be Morocco. Ghana probably would be comfortable with a draw against Morocco.
But of course, we've also seen the new players we talked about before we went into the game. Looking at their performance, are you satisfied? And you think this would mean something for the next games?
Well, I think Wollacott, who's making his debut for Ghana in the African Cup of Nations, he's been good so far, and he's been tested a couple of times from range, and he's been equal to it. Kamaldeen Suleimano on the left wing as well. He's looked confident and sharp, made a couple of interceptions, and is how different he is as a winger, always wanting to take on his man and create something for the team. And I think that one aspect that perhaps all effort, even Joseph Painter on the right wing, has been forcing the issue as well. But a lot of the efforts are leading to set pieces, which the Ghanaian team is not really capitalizing on at this point. And so you realize the Moroccans are not even scared to concede a set piece in and around their area because they know that Ghana have not been good in that regard. Not just in this game, but it's been a problem with our past two coaches. And we seem to not be able to, create chances from set pieces. And so we'll see whether 15 minutes is enough for them to improve on that. But so far, I think there has been an inspiring performance defensively. And Melo will be asking for more of the same and also more from the attacking players in the second half. In the second half, right. So that's what we'll be looking forward to. But looking at how the squad has played in this team, I mean, their next team, if they do well in this team, who possibly could be there, who would they be playing against in that next match? Yeah, so this on paper was Ghana's toughest game. And you want to take something from that, as I mentioned earlier. Even if you're not getting a result, a draw or a win, even if you lose, you want to go out saying that we played well, and if we played the same level against our next opponent, we should be able to beat them. So far, defensively, as I said, the team has been good. They've matched Morocco boot for boot. Of course, Morocco are coming in as the number one favorite, according to a lot of odds, flying around and machine learning algorithms. And so there is something special about this team. But you don't expect Ghana's next opponent in Gabon to play even half the level of football that Morocco are playing. And that's where the positive comes in. Ghana will play Gabon next. Gabon, so far, are without their captain in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Lamina as well, who is also a key player for them. Both of them had COVID-19. There's a possibility they might recover for Ghana's second game. However, you would have to factor in their lack of preparedness and, training with the team and all that. And also there's been issues with the Gabonese team they've not been paid some of their dues. And so the players went on a bit of strike. And so it's not been the best of campaign for Gabon. And that's really good news for Ghana, because Ghana plays them after this match. And as I said, you wouldn't expect their quality to be anywhere near Morocco. So with what we see in the first half, if Ghana adds a bit to it and plays the same way against Gabon, you'd expect them to pick the result and carry that into the final game against Comoros, also making their debut as well. So this is the toughest test. If Ghana finds a way of getting something in there, then it really leads to for the final 2 games.
Right, say Soreko Ampofo, and that'll be it for sports on the pulse. That'll also wrap up the pulse this afternoon. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. You'll get updates of all the developing stories. Enjoy the rest of our programs.